What we're going to talk about first is who is Hayden Panettiere. She's an actress, advocate, survivor. Hayden was an American actress known for her talent, resilience, and courage in speaking openly about her personal struggles. She captured hearts on the screen and inspired many off screen. She was born August 21st, 1989, so her birthday was just around the corner. Super sad about this entire situation. She was born in the Palisades, New York. Began acting at a very young age. I recall her acting in the movie Remember the Titans. And so, so she's been in movies for a very, very long time. It's such a sad thing. And unfortunately, this does kind of seem to be like a common occurrence when it comes to children actors, unfortunately. Personal life, she's the mother to daughter Kaya Evan Angel, sorry about that. Evangeline, who was born in 2014, so she's fairly young. She had a previous engagement and then has had an off and on again relationship with Brian Hickerson. Now, that off and on relationship has what's got a lot of people coming in with a lot of questions, including myself, and we're going to look at some of those. But I think it's important that we get a look at the timeline, and then we're going to talk about what's been breaking here recently, because it appears that law enforcement are now transitioning this into an investigation for criminal. It's very a criminal investigation. It's very similar to the oh gosh, what was his name? Matthew Perry from Friends. He ended up passing also from an overdose. And let me rephrase that. We don't know that Hayden has passed away due to that yet. That was what was disclosed during a 911 call, which we're going to listen to as well. However, the toxicology report hasn't come back yet. So we got to take that with a grain of salt still. Let's see. I'm going to try something. I was trying to figure out if I can share some comments and things on the screen, but wasn't allowing me to. All right. Again, this is my first time doing a live show with Streamlabs, so forgive me if I make some mistakes here. So let's go through the timeline, though, for Hayden. Saturday, August 15th, Hayden is reportedly in South Carolina after traveling from Los Angeles with Brian Hickerson. Sunday, August 16th, Hayden is in the Greenville, South Carolina residence with Brian Hickerson and his brother, Zach Hickerson, at about 1:51 p.m. I'm close to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 911 call is made. Hayden is reported unresponsive and in a cardiac arrest. Dispatch traffic reportedly references a possible overdose. I just kind of want to show everybody this really quick. There. So you guys can see what's behind me as well. First responders arrive. Advanced cardiac life support begins. Police learn about medications Hayden had been reportedly taken. At 2:32 p.m., Hayden is pronounced deceased. Monday, August 17th, autopsy performed. No trauma contributing to the death discovered. Cause and manner remain pending. Body released to Hayden's family. Police report details becoming public, including Brian and Zach's presence and a bag of medication. On Wednesday, August 19th, reporting emerges that police are examining whether criminal conduct played any role in Hayden's death. Toxicology and final autopsy findings remain outstanding. So a little bit of a background there that I kind of wanted to explain to you guys first, and then we'll get into what's recently came out. So just kind of get everybody caught up. Now, here's what's been going on here recently. So cops conduct death investigation to determine if criminal conduct was involved. So interesting. Police are not satisfied with Hayden Panettiere's death. It was a tragic overdose of prescribed medication because they are trying to determine if there could be criminal conduct behind it. The law enforcement source involved in the case tells TMZ they are conducting a death investigation to see if any illegality is behind the 36-year-old's death. As we reported, the Greenville PD showed up Wednesday morning at the family home of her boyfriend, Brian Hickerson. It would appear police want information from Brian regarding any circumstances that might be connected to Hayden's death. So this was reported by TMZ August 19, 2026. There's police officers that showed up. In fact, it seemed kind of weird because officers were also seen coming out of the back. However, the U.S. Sun has, I guess, got some more information on that. So it's not as interesting as it would appear. So the U.S. Sun reports 2 uniformed officers were snapped at Hendrick's party in Greenville, South Carolina on Wednesday morning. One walked up the front door while the other went up the driveway. Greenville police officers responded to a call for a welfare check at the home belonging to Brian Hickerson's family on Wednesday morning. The call is unrelated to Hayden Panettiere's death investigation and did not require an incident report. It comes as cops are underway to determine if criminal conduct was involved in the tragedy. So here they're saying that according to their sources, which are Greenville police officers that responded for the call, that it was a welfare check and that the call was unrelated to Hayden Panettiere's death investigation. So they responded to Brian's house for a welfare check. I'm not going to accuse anybody tonight of anything. I know some of the things that I'm going to bring up and some of the things that I'm going to say may sound like I'm leaning towards one direction but I'm not. And so I just want to say that now, that there's no accusations to anyone. This is an ongoing investigation and everybody is innocent until proven guilty. But there's some interesting things here. So, there's a case out here in San Antonio, Texas, where a guy, Brad Simpson, his wife was a realtor. She's been missing. He's been arrested for her murder, and they had responded at one point prior to, well, I guess when they arrested him. When they got there, he was having like a mental breakdown. He was destroying things too, like his computer, his phone, several phones and things of that nature. But what they found on it, the way they described it was almost like he was writing a note goodbye. You know what I'm trying to say? And so there wasn't anything on there, from what I understand, from what they could pull off of it, at least to our knowledge. The trial hasn't started yet, that pointed in one direction or another, other than what sounded like there was a note on one of them, or some information that may have sounded like he wasn't planning on being around, very long, if you get my drift, so to speak, at his own hands type of thing. Responding, I'm not saying that's the case here whatsoever, but that's kind of the first thing that kind of popped into my mind. But, I did want to answer this question that TMZ put out there, because they're alluding that they're there at the Hendrickson's house because of the investigation, and that they found it suspicious that the moment that it turns into a criminal investigation, that they're there. Now, I do agree with them that it is suspicious that they are there so quickly, or, at this point. Could it, be a response to the fact that this is turning into a criminal investigation? For those that have been following the Drunk Turkey Show for a while will know that we've covered the Brian Koberger case. And in that case, when the bolo came out, Brian Koberger had a reaction. He freaked out. He got into it with his professor. It ended up costing him his job. And then not only that, he ended up fleeing from the Washington, Idaho area all the way back to Pennsylvania. There was a response from law enforcement based on what law enforcement was doing. Could there be something like that here? Is he panicking? Is he freaking out? Is something happening that is requiring? And again, we don't even know if it was for him. So I do have to, also say we don't know that who the welfare check was for, just that it was for his family, his home. And I assume he was there, and that's why the people are, connecting these dots. And so did the change of how law enforcement are looking at this case have a reaction 3 days after Hayden's passing? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Now, I'm still very new to this, so if you guys, I don't know if I'll be able to bring up comments because it's not letting me. I'm trying, but thank you for everybody being here. All righty. Let's continue this. The death investigation was triggered because Hayden's death was unexpected since she was only 36 years old, adding that police are doing a parallel investigation with the coroner to determine the cause and manner of death. The autopsy has been completed and toxicology results are pending. However, we have a little bit of a clue here. TMZ is also reporting that now the DEA is involved in the death investigation. So Hayden Panettiere's death is on the Fed's radar. TMZ has learned that the DEA has joined the multi-agency investigation. Drug Enforcement Administration has agents assisting the parallel death investigation already underway. As we first reported, Greenville PD and the coroner's office are conducting parallel investigations, and the DEA is jumping in on the case as well. So that kind of leads us to believe, even though would lead me to believe that even though the toxicology report hasn't come in yet, that we most likely have evidence, and we do have the audio and things of that nature, but there's evidence at this point that would lead to, obviously something dealing with drugs. And, they bring up Matthew Perry here and how, well, I'll read it right here. The DA's involvement is harkens back to another celebrity death, the Matthew Perry case. Matthew died in 2023 from a ketamine overdose, and the Fed swooped in for months. Long investigation that eventually secured 5 convictions related to his death, including 2 doctors and the dealer who was known around LA as the ketamine queen. And so I think they could be going in at this that, all right, she may have had some drugs that were bad or something of that nature, and that's the avenue that they might be going down. Which, in her book that she has wrote, a little tell-all book that she has, which Brittany, a Steelers fan, has purchased and will be going through it. On that book, it was, she puts out there like her relationship with her current boyfriend was like 7 years of addiction. And I don't know if, and I think that she played, a role in that, not just him. And well, she was with him during this time. So could that be what could cause him to panic? A situation like this where, maybe law enforcement are looking into it similar as to what they looked into Matthew Perry. That's what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? But let's go on. So remembering paramedics also heard telling a dispatcher Hayden had suffered a possible overdose. Also, TMZ broke the story that Narcan, the over-counter OD treatment, was found in the apartment where Hayden died. That's interesting. Now, where they were found is interesting as well. I wonder if it's in here. I know I have it in a couple of documents. It's still undetermined if narcotics contributed to Hayden's death. The coroner said toxicology is pending, but obviously DEA agents have seen enough clues pointing to potential drug use to join the investigation. Let's see. I wanted to see if they had... No, it wasn't that one. All right. So Greenville police officer responded for a call for a welfare check at the home belonging to Brian Hickerson's family on Wednesday morning. Oh, so no, I'm sorry. I already read that. One law enforcement told source, we got that part. Here it is. She was found unresponsive in a local Greenville apartment by Brian's brother, Zach. Brian had been asleep in a separate room at the time. Remember, this was like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was asleep in the other room. It goes on to say, despite paramedics' efforts to revive her, she was declared dead around 2 p.m. Authorities are yet to confirm an overdose caused the death, as the coroner's findings remain pending. Detectives previously said the preliminary investigation hasn't indicated signs of foul play or suspicious circumstances. However, and this is me adding to this, is now they've changed the circumstances. It's no longer, they have parallel investigations going on here. And so to me, it's something interesting. The detectives previously said in the days following her death, Hayden's mom, Leslie Vogel, has spoken out to slam the pair's rekindled relationship. And talking about Brian Hickerson. And, we're going to listen to a couple of interviews here in a second from Brian, where he even brings up, his distaste for Hayden's mom, Leslie, a couple of times. This person in her life that we have been trying to get rid of for quite some time was with her at her death. And that was Brian Hickerson, Leslie told NBC News on Tuesday. The on and off couple traveled from LA to South Carolina together on the day before her death. Brian did not become visibly emotional until EMS declared the 36-year-old actress dead, according to heavily redacted reporting released by the Greenville police. Interesting. He did not become visibly emotional until they declared her deceased. He also showed officers a bag of medication that Hayden was taking at the time of her death. His brother Zach also witnessed her death and was very emotional as emergency medical services professionals were working on Hayden. So this is super suspicious. Now, I'm not going to say and accuse anybody of anything, but you have a guy who's been arrested a couple of times for assault against Hayden, right? It's happened, and we're going to go through those assaults. We're going to go through the details behind it as well. But you have the brother who's finding Hayden, and his alibi, he was asleep in the next room. It just, I don't want to say it. I don't know. It seems fishy to me. What do you guys think? I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's a little fishy. Let's see. He also showed officers a bag of medication. His brother also witnessed her death, was very emotional as emergency medical service professionals were working on her. So it seemed like he was more emotional than he was. Hayden's relationship with Brian was highly volatile and involved multiple domestic violence arrests, jail time, and rumored secret reconciliation recently. The pair were together from 2018 to 2020 before Hickerson was arrested, convicted, and jailed for domestic abuse against the actress. He served only 45 days in jail. The couple reconnected in 2021 before reportedly getting into another physical spat at a bar in West Hollywood. Hayden and Brian kept a low profile during the final years of her life. He was spotted attending her brother's Jansen's funeral by her side in 2023, who also passed away sitting up in a chair, which was kind of weird because that's how she passed away, sitting up in a chair. We'll get back to this. Let's listen to the 911 call.
Okay, everyone, instant to your son for cardiac arrest. Justin Millwall, 701 East Labridge Road, apartment 701 East Labridge Road, apartment. Okay, everyone, instant to your son for cardiac arrest. Justin Millwall, 701 East Labridge Road, apartment 701 East Labridge Road, apartment. Mr. 1, minute 29, responding.
Central 1.
That's wrong, Central 1.
Alpha 43, call Central 1. Copy Alpha 43.
Backtown, Medic 24 is available, same downtown. Spawn in place of Medic 29. Easley Bridge Road, overdose, CPR is in progress.
That's affirmative. That's what we were given. Is that not correct?
CPR in progress. That's so sad. Now, this is an interview that Brian Hickerson had not too long ago. This was only 3 months ago on TMZ. This guy just kind of, I don't know. I don't really like him.
She talks about your relationship.
Let me slow this down real quick.
And she does not hold back. She says it was an abusive relationship. She said it was traumatic and emotional. And she even said that she kept a lot of details about the relationship private from some of her closest friends because she was embarrassed by the toxic cycle. What are your thoughts on her characterization of your relationship?
Man, I mean, I think it speaks for itself. I mean, I got arrested for, abusing her, and I wouldn't blame her friends for being pissed off at me. So, I don't really have much to say on that, but
Do you understand her experience about your guys' relationship? Do you see where she's coming from?
we've been together for 8 years. I mean, that's a topic of conversation that came up a lot. So yeah,
I don't know, man. My first impressions of the guy, I think just because, I don't like him or I think he's a sleazebag doesn't mean he did anything nefarious. But, she describes their relationship as 7 years of addiction. I wonder if he was involved in that, right? I haven't read the book myself. It sounds like he was heavily involved in drugs and alcohol, from what I understand and from the reports. But was he like a supplier is basically what I'm trying to say. And again, if that's the case, then this investigation turning into a criminal event could be the reason why. And again, this is just my speculation and my opinion. Could be the reason why they had to do a welfare check on him today. The day that the investigation changed into DEA being involved, and then the possibility of this turning into a criminal case, and potentially, if they follow the footsteps of the Matthew Perry situation, could be something very similar. But yeah, this guy's weird at the very least, in my opinion.
I had a couple opportunities to apologize for it and reflect on it. So I don't know. You'd have to ask her what she thinks about it. But it's you never lay hands on a woman. Bottom line.
So when she was talking about your relationship, she compared it to a weed. She said every time you pull it out, another weed pops back up and you're like, I thought I killed this. What do you think about her comments comparing your on and off again relationship to a weed that keeps growing back?
Well, coming from a former landscaper, which I was, all you got to do is spray some Roundup right there on it.
This guy's an idiot. This guy is a complete idiot.
She wasn't talking about me. She was talking about her terrible mother.
All right. So this guy's a landscaper, and she's using the reference of weeds, and you don't think it's about you? Jeez, this guy's seems very narcissistic, very into himself. I don't know. Super weird. Super weird. Oh, I saw that, Nina Drew. Rest in peace to the officer killed in his home today, 100%. 23 years old. I saw that earlier. Crazy situation. Crazy situation out there. But for this guy, they need to flex, right? Saying, oh, it's not about me, it's about her mother. No accountability.
So you don't think she was talking about how you guys broke up and got back together and then broke up again and kind of had that cycle?
Nah.
When was the last time you talked to Hayden? And
It kind of rambles on here and there. I think at one point, I wish I got the time. He talks about his chapter. Let me see. Hopefully it's around this point.
There's a story.
I think it's a little bit before this.
have you read Hayden's book? So what did you think?
Hayden's book's incredible.
Despite some of the, kind of rehashing some of the things that happened between you guys, you still thought it was good?
No, I think it's great. I think everyone should read it. I mean, the domestic violence stuff that I think is like 272.
That's an act. He knows exactly what page number it is, and it bothers him. He's pretending it doesn't, and he's pretending to have to think about it. But if it really wasn't a big of a deal, who would remember the page number it starts on? You know what I'm saying? That's an act. That's bullcrap. In my opinion, but that's an act, what he's doing right there.
Page 272, my chapter. Everybody should read it. Yeah.
How was it for you reading that?
But yeah, I mean, it was, who wants to read something about themselves like that, right? But, you got to be vulnerable. And, I did it. So,
Was
He seems proud of himself. He seems, I did it. And then they have this is a different part of the same interview, but it was just kind of, so that way I don't got to search for it. But check this out.
Do you ever think about one day marrying her?
Yeah, of course.
Is it something that you think could still happen?
I hope so. She probably doesn't think the same way, but,
Do you think it's better for her to not be with you?
I think that Hayden is one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life, and I would be an idiot not to walk away from her and let her flourish in her career. So, we probably wouldn't be good together. I'd like to see what she's gonna do with the next 30 years of her career.
You were photographed together in March at the airport. Where does your relationship stand now?
Our relationship now is, I think it's just a mutual respect thing. She's, she'll always hold a special place in my heart, and I hope the same for her. But yeah, we're just good buddies.
Do you miss her?
I miss Hayden every day. Every day.
Do you think about getting back with her?
Of course. I wouldn't.
Do you have regrets in the relationship or wish that you did things differently? Because maybe there would be a different outcome right now.
Yeah, but all of them. I mean, I went into such a dark place, man. Drugs, alcohol. Dude, good God Almighty,
He's asleep at 2 p.m. Now, maybe he did yard work all morning. Yeah, he got tired or some of that nature. He wasn't on drugs or anything himself. He was asleep at 2 p.m. His brother had to find her. He's talking about all the drugs he had. Welfare check at his house. The day that this is released, that it's turned into a criminal investigation. I'm just pointing out the dots. You guys can connect them yourselves.
5'2" on paper, 4'11" in real life. I mean, come on.
What the hell is that about?
11 in real. Oh, dude, good God Almighty! She's 5'2" on paper, 4'11" in real life. I mean, come on.
I don't know about this guy. I don't know. This is Hayden Panettiere's neighbor says she witnessed abuse. This was 4 hours ago.
Is making shocking allegations about the troubled star's relationship with her boyfriend.
She was always such a bright light when she was by herself. When she was with Brian, she was so subdued and seemed almost like a different person.
Mia Terrazas says she called 911 a half a dozen times to report disturbances in Hayden's apartment in West Hollywood.
Was there ever any instances where you thought there could be domestic violence going on?
Oh, absolutely. I saw her leaving on a gurney. Brian was right next to her, and I asked her if she was okay. And it looked to me that she, had suffered some type of trauma that, looked to be battering. And it was clear she was terrified.
Brian Hickerson was jailed for 45 days in 2021 for punching Hayden with his closed fist in the face and was banned from the apartment complex where Hayden lived. This image of Hickerson was posted on the property. Warning to all residents, if he is seen anywhere on this property, please call 911 immediately.
That is bad when they had to put, wow. I mean, that tells you something, right? That tells you that this guy was probably a stalker too and was continually going back there over and over again, despite being told not to be there. That is insane. And it gets worse. We're going to read the text messages that he had towards Hayden during during the trial of his, assault case. And so that is insane. Wow. I hadn't seen the entire video. I hadn't gotten this far yet. I just saw the headline that says that she witnessed abuse. And so I wanted to bring that to you guys, but that's so unfortunate.
But Hayden led him back into her life, and they were together when the troubled star was found dead in an Airbnb in Greenville, South Carolina, apparently from an overdose.
What was your reaction when you heard the news about Hayden's death?
It's really devastating. She's so young and she had so much life left to live.
Today, Greenville cops were seen at the home of Brian Hickerson's grandparents. Cops say it was a welfare check unrelated to Hayden's death. We're also learning more about Hayden's final hours. Brian Hickerson's brother, a local preacher named Zach Hickerson, arrived at the Airbnb around 1:50 p.m. on Sunday. Published reports say he found his brother asleep in bed, and Hayden was unconscious and unresponsive on an armchair. Hayden's mother
Let's paint that picture, right? He finds his brother asleep in bed. So he must have been, either far away, right? From where Hayden was. Because I'm assuming, he walks in, he sees her on the armchair. Maybe he thinks she's asleep and then goes and tries to wake up the brother. I don't think so. I think he notices, she probably don't look okay. And it might be, I'm assuming here, and it's speculation, but you would think that he'd probably yell out for Brian, like, where are you, right? Your girlfriend's here, unresponsive on the bed. He didn't say that, when he found her, that Brian busted out of the bedroom. He said he found him asleep. And so he had to wake him up, is the way I read that. Even after probably some heightened sense of what the hell's going on here from the brother, you know, he's probably an adrenaline rush. He's probably yelling and speaking very loudly. And he had to wake him up from bed. You know what I'm saying? So, I didn't know that part.
Asleep in bed, and Hayden was unconscious and unresponsive on an armchair. Hayden's mother, Leslie Vogel, is demanding a full police investigation. That is not the typical hour of the day that you are partying, generally speaking. That is a concern, she said. At this point, I am not launching a private investigation. It might change. But Hayden's mother is also coming under fire.
That is a good point. That's not, you know, the type of day that you should be partying. I don't know. I wonder what the estimated time of death was. I know that they pronounced her dead, you know, after working on her, but I wonder how long she had been. I know she was unresponsive. Was she still alive? And they just couldn't, you know, she was just failing, you know, when they found her? Or had she been gone for a little bit?
Herself after saying the 36-year-old star had, quote, sadly lost her way. I wish she had stayed true to herself because she had many incredible attributes.
All I can think of is thanks, Mom, for nothing. It makes me so sad that of the opportunity that you have after your daughter's death, that's what you choose to leave us with.
Seems like she was getting failed by a lot of people. So this is, we're going to go into some of the domestic violence reports against Brian Hickerson, who was asleep in the bed when this had occurred, when she passed away. Things don't add up there, you know. This doesn't add up for me, but here we are. So this was, let's see, when was this released? May 18, 2019. Days after Hayden Panettiere's boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, was arrested for domestic violence, details from the 911 call placed by a neighbor have emerged. Someone who lives near the 29-year-old Nashville alum and Hickerson's Hollywood home placed the call around 1:30 a.m. on Thursday, May 2nd, and stated that they heard a person yell ouch during the couple's argument. I wonder if this was a lady that we were listening to who was talking about all the assaults that they had that she had witnessed. The outlet reports that notes from the Los Angeles Police Department reveal that the caller told them that their neighbors were both in a physical and verbal argument. Us Weekly confirmed on Friday, May 3rd, that Hickerson, 30, was taken into police custody in the early hours of Thursday and was later released on a $50,000 bond. Police officers discovered redness and marks on Panettiere's body after the pair got into an argument following the night out in Hollywood. This isn't the first time that Hickerson has been involved in an alleged violent incident. In October 2018, the aspiring actor got into an altercation with his father, David, which left his dad with what appeared to be blood on his face. The Remember the Titans actress, meanwhile, appeared to be frantic and struggled to unlock the door in a hurry. A note in the report revealed following the incident, an insider told us that Panettiere's close friends worried her relationship with Hickerson was not a healthy situation. So that's the first one in 2018, 19, and this is the next one. Hayden Panettiere's boyfriend arrested for allegedly punching her in the face. Hayden Panettiere's boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, has been arrested for domestic battery. Spokesman for the Teton County Sheriff's Office in Wyoming said that Hickerson was arrested for domestic battery on February 14th. Panettiere called the police after Hickerson allegedly struck Panettiere with a closed fist on the right side of her face. The documents claim that Panettiere locked Hickerson out of a private home the couple was staying at when police arrived at the address, and alleged intoxicated Hickerson was standing in the driveway. The documents allege that Hickerson told police that Panettiere was saying he beat the F out of me. According to the report, police on the scene noticed visible injuries on Panettiere face, including a fresh scrape and swelling on the top of her left hand, which she believed became from Hickerson's watch during the altercation. Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up, because I was kind of searching for all this stuff, that other one with the $50,000 bond they don't go into detail about her injuries other than the redness and stuff. But if memory on my research serves me correct, I believe it was felony domestic violence. And so it was pretty crazy. Let's see. According to court documents, Henderson was asked by police if he punched Panettiere. His demeanor immediately changed, and he avoided the question. The document claims that Hickerson told police that nothing happened between him and Panettiere. The couple hired a private chef for $700 for that evening, and the chef told officers that the couple was arguing earlier that evening, but the male chef had already left before the alleged early morning physical fight occurred. And this is his mugshot. Get out of the way so you guys can see that. Boyfriend was passed out. Yeah. Now, I didn't stop there. Hayden Panettiere's boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, allegedly sent threatening text messages after the 2020 arrest. Read them here. So let's read them. Brian Hickerson allegedly sent threatening texts about going to war with Hayden Panettiere following the February 2020 domestic battery arrest. According to documents, during Hickerson's 2020 criminal case, he allegedly sent the Heroes actress a string of ominous texts following his February 14th Wyoming arrest for allegedly delivering a closed fist blow to her while staying at an Airbnb. Per the outlet, a probable cause affidavit from the incident, which contained screenshots of missed calls and text messages directed towards Panettiere, stated that despite a court order prohibiting him from contacting her, Hickerson had sent her alleged text reading, "Time to go to war, I guess." In another alleged text communication, Hickerson wrote, "After Wyoming and LA disappears, so does the videos." Man, this guy was exploiting her, threatening. I mean, this is insane. And I can only assume the videos that he's referencing are probably sexual in nature or drug use type videos. Those are probably what it is one or the other. And man, this guy's pretty horrible. Another text read, "Even if I sit in a jail cell for 10 years, all the stuff that is vaulted overseas with my people will come out the second I step foot into prison. And all that does is hurt your name while simultaneously clearing my name. And at that point, who actually cares?" What? Even if I sit in jail for 10 years, all the stuff that is vaulted overseas with my people, like, what did he do? Like, he's like, "Oh, I got all these images and all these things to blackmail you, and they're overseas with my counterparts." Yeesh, this guy is crazy. This is wild. And then Hickerson allegedly wrote to the former child star, "Say something, Hayden, so I don't get defensive and start firing off emails to people to get ready. I thought this legal stuff would magically disappear. We got to figure something out, buddy," he allegedly wrote. And then he wrote another that says, "It's very simple. It's a very simple fix between me and you. You got to make one phone call. I don't want to go to court for you. I will be effing fine in court. Trust me, it's for you." Man, this guy is freaking nuts, narcissistic, the whole 9 yards. The Hickerson was sentenced to a year behind bars. The sentence was ultimately suspended, and Hickerson instead got a year of probation. Here's the other interesting thing, right? So 3 days before Panettiere passed, a judge denied Hickerson's request to expunge and downgrade his past felony charges to misdemeanors. So yeah, those were all felony domestic violence charges that he had. You know, that means it's more than, you know, assault by contact or causing bodily injury. Well, at least in Texas, you know, for it to be a felony, it would have to be a serious bodily injury. Serious bodily injury in Texas is classified as like disfigurement or life-threatening and things of that nature. And so this is crazy. There's a lot of, like I said, I'm not connecting any dots. I'm just pointing them out. Let you guys connect them. Let's see. Hickerson, who pled no contest to 2 felony counts of injuring a spouse or girlfriend after he was arrested in Los Angeles in July 2020 and handed an 8-count criminal indictment in April 2021, faced charges stemming from a string of alleged incidents from May 9, 2019 and January 2020 involving the Scream star. Per documents obtained by Page 6, the court denied the motion in the hearing on August 13th, despite Hickerson pointing out that he had met the conditions of his probation. The request was a repeat, as we were told he made the same request in July 2025 and again was denied. In 2021, Hickerson was sentenced to 45 days in county jail, as well as 4 years of formal probation, 52 mandatory domestic violence classes, and 5-year restraining order. Though he had credit for 12 days previously served, Hickerson spent 33 days in LA Men's Central Jail. Pretty insane stuff. Now, there's been one rumor that has been really circulating around, and that was that apparently there was a fling or some sort of thing that happened with Hayden and Zach, who is Brian's brother, the person that found her. Now, I went back and searched, and I found this article from E! News. Hayden Panettiere's recent outing with Zach Hickerson is raising eyebrows. The Nashville alum was spotted holding hands with ex-boyfriend Brian Hickerson's brother, sparking relationship speculation. These photos have surfaced 4 months after Hayden's ex and Zach's brother Brian was arrested after allegedly getting into a confrontation with the 30-year-old actress. Hayden and Zach are not dating, but she has been relying on him for additional support to get through this time, as he is the closest thing to Brian, a source tells E! News. Zach and Brian are very similar. They look alike, they act alike, but Zach isn't as nearly as explosive as Brian. And this is the image here of them holding hands and walking around. She looks happier. You know, I don't know if there was anything there or anything like that. I'm not going to say there is or isn't. I have no idea. But she looks happy here. What do you guys think? Alrighty, and I'm back. And so that is where we're at. We have a lot of stuff that we have gone over today. It's pretty crazy. If you have questions or comments that you want me to read out, please put a couple of stars. I'm going to go back up a little bit, and we'll do that for the next 10 minutes or so. I'd appreciate that. And again, give us a like, give us a subscribe. I'd appreciate that. You know, and if you don't mind, we also have Married to the Hobby. That's my other channel that's been going up pretty recently. And so I want to thank everybody that's been tuning in from there. So thank you guys. Oh man, I saw something. I thought these alerts were supposed to come out. I apologize if anybody has done any. Okay, so Midwest sent 2 jewels. I just saw that. Steelers fans send a gift. Thank you, thank you. I got to figure out how to use this, guys. I'm probably going to do a live on Sunday where I'm just going to go live trying to figure out Streamlabs and talk about things. But I appreciate if you guys had donated, let me know. One of the mods, I'd appreciate it. Please put a couple of asterisks in front of your comment or question so that I know you're talking with me or to me. Go follow. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sirius. Thank you, Steelers fan. So many awesome people here tonight. Thank you, guys. She paid for everything. Brooklyn Girl says she paid for everything while she was with him. Everything. Yeah. That's what it seemed like it. Amanda Amy Force says a definite druggie. His tough talk is enhanced from drugs. Is he a drug dealer? Like I said, I mean, I'm not saying that, anything, pointing any fingers or connecting dots. I'm just pointing the dots out. I find it suspicious that this guy was asleep, had to be woken up, and then there's a criminal the same day that there's a criminal that is put out publicly that there's a parallel criminal investigation going on into this, that a welfare check is required at his house. Why? Did that news, I don't know, cause a reaction of some sort? That's what I'm thinking. That is what I'm thinking. Oh man, my chat froze on me. Let me refresh the chat. There we go. Hey, Married to the Hobby Steelers fan comes in with $2. I wish it would let me show it. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. So Fancy Nancy says, I feel like she had a trauma bond with him. He seems unhinged at the very least on substances. I agree. I would agree with you there. I think there's something there. Let me see. So now I've you guys want to see what I'm doing? I somehow got the chat over here. This is so new to me, guys. I apologize to y'all. But thank you, Steelers fan right here. Thank you so much. I feel like there's more. So Steph comes in saying there's more to this than her just ODing with a bad BF. I agree. Luna Watches says, do you realize how much hell your interview with Steve Gonsalves would raise? It's everywhere. Hey, Steve's a good guy. He's a good friend of mine, and he's gone through a lot, and a lot of it he don't deserve, and so I'm glad he was able to speak his mind a little bit. I appreciated it. Let's see. She needed a man to give support, and she wound up with an abusive milkman. Captain Jax comes in with. Wicked says, by the sounds of those texts of him, he was probably trying to extort her into being with him. That's a great comment there, Wicked. I think you're probably right on and sparked on that one. I want to say I would agree with you there. I would agree with you. Oh, here it says up here. So it says Ghost came in with gold coins. Birdie 284 came in with 5 jewels. Midwest came in with 2 jewels. And Steelers fan came in with 2 jewels as well. Thank you, guys. Oh, thank you, Midwest. Great live. I learned a lot about this case. As more information comes out, I'm going to continue to talk about it. I think there's going to be more. I wouldn't be surprised if more than one arrest is made. If and when those things do happen, I'll be breaking them down. But I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll probably be back on tomorrow night, probably back on StreamYard just until I get this situated. I don't know, maybe I'll come back tomorrow on here. But we'll hit the like, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.